Hello everyone, my name is Assumpta Onukwa. I am a psychology major at the University of Houston, downtown. Sociology is one of my required courses and I'm here to present the inequalities in the criminal justice system in sociology. Please, due to the limited time of this video, each slide has a note below. Justice system, inequalities in justice system. Justice system is the organized system of institutes created by the government to discipline criminal acts and force penalties on lawbreakers. It is the judiciary system that involves an organization of courts responsible for interpretation and application of the law. Justice system, the set of agencies and process established governments to control crime and impose penalties on violators. The criminal justice system includes institutes and organizations of governments. Their purpose is to forgive the criminals, inhibit criminal activities, and emotionally assistance for the people affected by crime. Inequalities in justice system causes. Law discriminates the blacks. As mentioned in race and racism, racial discrimination has become institutionalized. The draft state laws are a form of inscribed social discriminations. The school to prison pipeline is another cause, as a certain behavior leads the children from public schools to criminal system for underdeveloped young people. Mass incarceration, prolonged and massive imprisonments. The United States are using the prison system very frequently compared to their nations. Hence, most non-violent offenders spend a huge part of their lives behind bars because of the racially discriminated justice system. Emergency of mass incarceration. The attitude towards prison used to control crime increased after the mid-20th century, when a police for mass imprisonment left the ground. Several scholars consider the Crime Control and Safe Street Act by L.B. Johnson in 1968 as the initial cause of mass incarceration. A comparison between Germany and Netherlands prison and US police shows that Germany and Netherlands respect human rights. So these both countries, imprison people about 1/10 of the US. The basic policy is to let the convict reunite with society, and imprisonment is taken as the last center. The imprisonment is taken as the last center. Race and mass incarceration. In a study in 2008, only 1/3, for example, 33% of US population was black. And at the same time, 58% of the prison population was black. So according to CASO in 2018, black males were a 5 times greater chance of imprisonment than whites. Mass incarceration proven ineffective. It is ineffective due to, let's say, imprisonment has not proven to be a very effective crime control strategy in the US. Despite that, it has been used massively. It is because of two reasons. Usually, economies changes during their market frustration and community responses. Market frustration and community responses and more. War on drugs and justice system. US populations severely involved in drug dealing and abuse. Let's say to understand the US justice system's massive inclination towards black men's imprisonment, we consider war and drugs. So drug laws have not been easy to enforce because the sale and abuse of drugs are very widespread. It's very, very widespread. Colorblind fallacy. 4 frames of blindness. The way people perceive racism is also important. It's very, very important, as white people tend to perceive racism differently. The white people perceive racism differently. So Karasma shall explain this phenomenon in her article, saying, where she mentioned 4 settings of colorblind racism, and they are abstract liberalism, nationalization, cultural racism, minimizing racism. With their definition, with their meaning, emphasize on equal opportunity, racial differences. When it comes to abstract liberalism, is emphasis on equal opportunities, nationalization, racial differences as natural. The cultural racism, differences and natural, minimizing racism, denying of differences. So she in her article, she really tell more details on the colorblind fallacy. Institutionalized disparities in criminal justice system. Racial profiling, it is a crime profiling based on ethnic origin and racial differences, according to the first 2016. So Lembert's study shows that 13% of all the cars in New Jersey, had black drivers, but those who were stopped were 35%. And those arrested were at 73.2%. So it's kind of something else. What's the matter, Mommy? Synthesis disparities. Black and Latinos have higher arrest chances than whites. A study found out that Black and Latinos violators of the law are sentenced to longer prison than whites, even after severe charges. Disparities in death penalties. Racism prevail even in the death penalties. For example, the black people who had their odds against whites were more likely to be put to death. Imagine that. than white against white or blacks against black. Private prison and prison industrial, private prison and prison industrial complex. The CCA, which stands for the Correction Corporation of America, excelled during the 1990s and began to build a speculative prison with expectation that the prison population should be increasing. That's the CAC. That is the CAC, yeah. Which CAC started building private and new prison in 1990s, expecting more prisoners. Obama banned the US of private prison, thus decreasing stock share of CAC. So CAC is yeah. So in conclusion to all this, the most basic cause of all kind of inequalities in justice system of United States is racism. It's racism. So superiority complex. The felony is an outcast. Black people are poor and have less right to live like a normal citizens. To be a criminal is to fade as specific kind of industry that bred on increasing prisoners. So in all this, just like I said, is the conclusion is basically inequalities in law and order of the United States is racism. And here are the references. Here are the references where I got all this information, including my textbook. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my audience. Thank you for listening. And thank you for my dear instructor who really make me to acknowledge sociology. Just like I said from the beginning, it's one of my required courses, and I so much enjoy it, and it makes me to like more awareness, what is happening based on racial racism. Thank you. Bye.